Did you know that a single sneeze can send more than 5,000 respiratory droplets into the air at a speed of 47 miles per hour? So it's important to cover your mouth when you sneeze, of course. If you cover your mouth with your hand, then you'll want to wash hands immediately. Sometimes you're not where you can wash your hands. So if you will sneeze into your elbow, and we're teaching our children to do that, which is very good. So what are the solutions? The solutions go back to the A, B, C plus D of natural health, and it is as easy as A, B, C. Most of the troublesome respiratory symptoms that are experienced during any infection is caused by the immune system. You heard me right, caused by the immune system. Those symptoms, though, are helpful and even essential in overcoming the illness. Remember, the immune system is partially contained in that colon, so we must be sure to keep the colon healthy. The body's natural innate response to any allergen is for white blood cells to release additional histamine in order to, quote, get rid of all of those allergens. These white blood cells accumulate by the millions, which result in coughing, sneezing, and a runny nose as a way to remove them and the germs and the mucus and other byproducts from the infection. The most common treatment in today's world is to take an antihistamine. Have you done that? Well, that will address the symptoms short term, but at the same time, it's doing the opposite of what your body's trying to do. And it's your body's natural response to accumulate those allergens in that mucus to get them out. When we take an antihistamine, they're pushed back into our cells, and our body has to work harder to get that out and to heal. When your immune system is functioning optimally and your nutritional balance is perfect or as good as can be, then the body will not respond to any allergen in any adverse way. In the course of my education, Dr. Donald Lepore is author of a book called The Amazing Healing System, and he asserts that there's no such thing as an allergy. Well, since I lived the first 50 years of my life dealing with what I knew as allergies, I was really interested in what else he had to say. He goes on to call those type responses metabolic antagonists. And his research and study has shown that when our body is deficient in a specific vitamin or a specific mineral or a specific amino acid, then the immune system cannot handle the proper response to that allergen. Yes, there are allergens in the air, in our environment, but our body does not always respond to them the same way. He went on to say, you know, if pollen, which is pretty common this time of the year, or cat dander, or mold, or so many other allergens were the cause, then everybody would respond the same way. That made sense to me. Does that make sense to you? So if we have nutritional balance on the inside of our body, then our immune system will handle that allergen without giving us an allergic response. So let's talk about causes and symptoms. Have you ever been led to believe that coughing or a fever or runny nose is somehow bad for you? In reality, it's not these symptoms that are bad for you, it's the infection that's causing them. Suppressing a symptom rather than eliminating the underlying cause is usually counterproductive because doing so partially suppresses the body's natural response to infection and illness. A fever is a good sign that your immune system is doing its job. Fever is useful in killing invading organisms. So when you suppress the symptoms of any respiratory infection, then you increase the risk of maybe developing pneumonia. Coughing is the body's natural response to get rid of germs, mucus, and other irritants. Likewise, when you dry up the nasal secretions, You can allow these agents to accumulate in sinuses, thus increasing the risk for sinusitis. In summary, we've talked about the wonderful respiratory system and the function and how detailed it is. We talked a little bit about the malfunction and what we can do to increase the optimal function of that respiratory system. And we just need to focus on causes rather than just treating symptoms. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with our mailbag segment.
Welcome back. We're glad you joined us today and hope you're learning a little bit more about how to improve the function or address some symptoms on the respiratory system. It's really difficult to give you as much information as we'd like to in a short 30-minute program. However, I'd like to again invite you to contact us at info@pioneerwellness.net if you have more information that you're looking for. Mentioned earlier in the intro segment that antibiotics are presenting an overuse issue in our society today. We're finding that with the overuse of antibiotics that the average person that goes to the doctor is having to, they're having to be prescribed higher dosages of the antibiotics. And what's happening is the overuse is causing an adaptation in the viruses or in the bacteria in our bodies and in our world. I encourage you to look for alternatives such as silver. Silver Shield is the product we use. Those are very effective antimicrobials. Just continue to educate yourself on some other options that you have available before entering the antibiotic regimen. Also, keeping yourself healthy and your immune system strong with some of the information we've discussed so far is highly beneficial. I wanted to also talk about briefly before we get to our question, the fact that the FDA has recently validated a research study on the link between food dyes and a suppressed immune system. Symptomatic issues that they're studying are the link between food dyes and what we've known to be true for quite a while now, and ADHD. If you think about just for a second how many children ingest food dyes and how many different forms of beverages or food and where their immune systems, their brain function is being impeded. I encourage you to look into that. Follow up with us with more information if you'd like. Okay, moving along to our mailbag segment and the question of the day. We have a question that says, can you tell me which herbs which would help my spring allergy symptoms and which foods, if any, would also help?
I sure can. Since I lived the first 50 years of my life dealing with this, that was one of the first things I wanted to learn for sure. Herbs such as boneset, fennel, fenugreek, horseradish, mullein, those are all excellent for the respiratory system. And instead of trying to take one of each of those, they're included in an herbal formula that makes it so easy to get the benefit, the synergistic benefit of a little bit of all of it in one capsule. ALJ is that herbal formula. Another one that is just super beneficial, Histoblock, includes quercetin, bromelain, stinging nettle. There are over 65 clinical trials that show how important bromelain is in treating those kind of symptoms. Research studies show that a boneset contains quercetin, which has anti-allergy, anti-inflammatory properties. So those herbs do have really good nutrients in them that will help your body support. As far as foods, the acid alkaline, the pH balance comes up every time we talk about this kind of information. So fresh lemon in water can certainly help you stay alkaline. Even though lemon sounds acid, it leaves an alkaline ash in your body. Live foods, good raw vegetables, the right colored vegetables, that certainly can help you with nutrients and help your body support those symptoms and help you get beyond those symptoms and get into good healing.
Very good. Now I would like to also add to that something very simple that many are already aware of is the fact that if you can obtain local honey wherever you reside, that's highly beneficial with responses to seasonal allergies, immune system. It's rich in the B vitamins. So very simple food choices can make a significant difference. Also wanted to touch briefly back on the antibiotic situation, and this is something that Cookie had included in our show today, and that was the fact that the antibiotics, which many should already be aware of, they are killing the good probiotics. We need to supplement each time that we're prescribed an antibiotic. We need to supplement with a probiotic at that time. It is crucial to maintaining good systemic immune health. So if you go into the pharmacy and you are prescribed antibiotics, ask for a probiotic as well. It would be a good idea. Okay, on next week's show, we're going to be talking about the structural system. We invite you to come back at that time. Again, we would invite you to contact us via email with questions. Contact Cookie directly at 910-330-3838 if you'd like to set up a wellness assessment appointment at the new Rio Low Pharmacy here in Surf City. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next week on Natural Health Solutions.